and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, and this is the show where a absolute nobody from Ohio tells you about the nerd news. And the first story we're going to cover today, if you don't know this guy's name, you are a fan of the Karate Kid, you definitely know who he is. Rob Garrison died this week at the age of 59 due to kidney and liver issues. If you need a little refresher, this is Tommy from the Karate Kid franchise, and if you need an even better refresher, he's the get him a body bag guy who ends up in a body bag in season 2 of Cobra Kai. The reason I'm so apprehensive to bring that up is because we're talking about how the guy died here, and now we're talking about body bags. It seems tasteless. I don't know, but here's what I do want to say is that, one, obviously this guy, he has this iconic line in this iconic movie. Me personally, I love it when he says, "Take a right, check it out." I have employed that in my personal life. And he is the only person I've ever heard say it, outside of myself. But yeah, so he's given me that thing. I've always loved that line, just the way he delivered. "Take a right, check it out. Looks like everyone's trying something new." Or no, that was the other guy. Anyways, yeah, he was just such a entertaining character in the original Karate Kid movie, and honestly, probably the most heartfelt episode of season 2 of Cobra Kai involves this character, Tommy. He's dying from cancer, so they all the guys from Cobra Kai decide to take him out for one last ride, a camping trip and everything. Just show him a good time, and he dies there. Shit, I should have said spoilers. I'm sorry, I was reminiscing. Anyways, man, it was such a good episode. I loved that episode, and I can't say I've seen anything else this guy has been in. I know he's done other television shows, a couple I've even heard of before, but I really don't need to appreciate like what he has given me. Although I am interested to see what else he's done. I know him for literally just this one thing, and I would love to know a little bit more about his acting prowess. Know what his range was and everything. Just show a little honor to the guy himself. So Rob Garrison, thank you for giving me Take a Right, Check It Out. Thank you for probably the best episode of season 2 of Cobra Kai, and that is in no way me going like, "Oh, this guy died, so I should say this thing." I was saying that like well after the episode came out, like well into having seen it. That's not how you phrase that. Anyways, I was saying it after I saw it. But yeah, man, thank you so much, Rob Garrison. Moving on from there, let's bring the mood up a bit, because as I said on the last episode, I went ahead and watched Battle at Big Rock. This is the Jurassic World short that came out. It's about 8 minutes, and wow, man, in 8 minutes, that was so good. We set up this little family. They do a good job of that. I'm like, oh man, these guys are cute. Oh shit, they're all gonna die, aren't they? Spoiler alert, no, they don't, but it's more about the how than the what. And I highly suggest you go watch it. It's this little pocket of, here are the consequences of the ending to Jurassic World 2, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And even during the credits for this thing, it gives you these little video snippets of like, these are what other people are dealing with outside of this little 8-minute story that played out. It was just really good. Wow. Honestly, I was just expecting a dinosaur fight. I'd be like, yeah, all right, that was cool. But man, this got me jazzed up for Jurassic World 3. And largely, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was good. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, I wasn't over the moon about it. It was all right. I was okay with it. I thought the ending was severely lacking, maybe rushed, but yeah, this has me back for 3. I was already gonna go watch it, of course, but I couldn't lie about that. But this has me amped up. I'm excited again. And we got news this week that this past week, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum all are returning. I know Jeff Goldblum was in this like tiny little role in the second one, but all three of these guys are returning. I don't know. Ooh, no editing this week. No editing. There you go. You gotta burp. Okay. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum. I don't know how big of a role they're going to play, if they'll all be small parts, if they'll just be in the beginning of it, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's just cool news, and I'm in for it. I'm in for it because of this short. I'm in for it because of them. Yeah, for real. Go watch Jurassic World Battle at Big Rock. It's on YouTube. I'll put a link down below. Check that shit out because it was really cool. Oh, so that's gonna be a noise that's gonna be in there. Hey, like I said, no fucking editing, because don't have time for it. That's what happens when I shove this into the very back, in the very last quarter of my Sunday, when I've got to have it uploaded by the end of the night. Anyways, next story. There is a new spinoff coming in the world of the Berlantiverse. This spinoff is going to star Catherine McNamara, Katie Cassidy, and Julia Harkave, who will all reprise their roles for the new series spinning out of Arrow. This is going to be centered on a new Green Arrow, Mia Smoke, and the Canaries, Laura Lance, and Dinah Drake. I think this is really cool news. And just to get out in front of it now, fuck off with your, okay, we got Supergirl, we got Batwoman, it's gonna be all girls. What about the boys? Boys have their time to shine, all right? This is gonna be cool. And plus, some of the, I guarantee some of the original Arrow cast is gonna be in there. I know that Wild Dog, I can't remember his name, Renee, is gonna be in there, because this series actually takes place in the future of the Berlantiverse, or at least the Arrowverse pocket of the Berlantiverse. And yeah, I love this little idea. Plus, these are cool characters. These little spots that took place in the future were pretty interesting. Probably some of the best stuff from this most previous season. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what more they do, because there is going to be an episode in season 8, the final Arrow season, that is going to serve as kind of a backdoor pilot for this. So yeah, bring it on. Fuck yeah. Let's have this. I'm down. That's all I have to say about that. But that doesn't mean we're done with the Berlantiverse yet, because this past week we got a bunch of cool stuff for Crisis on Infinite Earths, the big 5-episode crossover. I know it's coming in December, but I can't remember exactly what day. I think it's starting with Supergirl, though. It would have behooved me to write that down, but it didn't. What it did write down, though, is that Brandon Routh revealed his look for Kingdom Come Superman for this crossover event, and it looks really good. The suit is rad. I love it. Oh, it's so good. I do kind of wish he was a little aged up. Maybe they'll do that in the show. Just change his facial look just a little bit, because these are obviously production stills. Or not really production stills. It's more like advertisement, like, I don't know what you call them. The business! Anyways, but there were 2 that came out. One particularly that's obviously modeled off of those, I've got a t-shirt of it. Those, I have a book of his stuff in the back. Alex Ross's work is obviously the inspiration for one of these photos, and that really, really makes it shine. I'm just excited to see him do this, really. I don't care that he's not aged up. If they don't do it in the show, who cares? Because the suit looks dead on. It looks great. He looks great. I can't wait to see that. But that's not all. In a really surprising bit of news. We also got it revealed that Ashley Scott will reprise her role as Huntress from the series Birds of Prey for this thing. So, wow, no stone left unturned. Of all the things I thought would play into this, honestly, I might have picked the 94 Justice League attempted pilot thing that they eventually passed off as like a TV movie sort of thing that I don't even think ever aired. But yeah, I would have assumed someone would have popped out of that before Birds of Prey. But hey, here we go. The response to this on the Sorta My Comics Facebook page was kind of interesting too, because there were a lot of people who were like way on board for this. I've seen the show. I own the show. It's got a little charm, but it's not great. But a lot of people are really wondering like, oh man, but what about Oracle? Oh man, but what about who the fuck else was in that show? Shit, I can't even remember. But just so long as they leave Harleen on the table, we're good. Honestly, hey, I will say this though: best best Batgirl costume live action of all time goes to Birds of Prey. If you've seen the first episode, the pilot episode, there's these flashback moments, and wow, it looks good. Plus, also, didn't Mark Hamill play the Joker in that? Like, I know he didn't physically play him, but he did the voice over for the Joker in those flashback scenes. So, can we get like live action Mark Hamill Joker? That's what I want out of Birds of Prey. But hey, good for Ashley Scott. I just love that they're paying homage to all of their CW shows from over the years. That's just cool. And you can't really do that without going to Berlantiverse Prime, which is what I've started calling Smallville, which is the next bit of this news. Whoa, what a great segue. Tom Welling and Erica Durance have been confirmed to be reprising the roles as Clark Kent and Lois Lane for the big crossover. It's unknown if we'll see if Welling will don the traditional full Superman wardrobe, but we do know that the characters will be picking up almost 10 years after the events of Smallville, so pretty much is like aging them up and advancing their story in real time. And Durance has been confirmed to appear in multiple episodes of the crossover, including an episode of Batwoman. So that is really cool. What is not really cool, though, is that it's also been confirmed that Michael Rosenbaum will not return as Lex Luthor by the man himself on Twitter. He stated he turned it down because, quote, their offer, no script, no idea what I'm doing, no idea when I'm shooting, basically no money, and the real kick in the ass, we have to know now, end quote. So, honestly, I can understand him turning it down, because you really have to think of it from his point of view. He's notoriously, and has stated this a million times, he's not a big comic book guy, so it's not like the biggest passion project for him or anything like that. This isn't the role he's been waiting for, to return to Lex Luthor, which he did for 7 years and was a little miserable for him from time to time, even though he loved his time there. Like, there was a lot that went into that. And so this is his job. This is his profession, you know, and they're basically coming to him saying like, big old question mark. We just basically want you to commit your life to this one thing with no answers to any of what would be normal questions for an actor. So yeah, I get it. Man, I'm bummed. I wish he was coming back. I really wish he was going to be in this thing. But honestly, I don't want to be greedy either. I'm so happy we're getting Tom Welling coming back as Clark Kent. Like, Tom Welling could have done anything in this. He could have said, like, okay, I'll be in the crossover, but I don't want to be Clark Kent. And they probably would have been like, okay, you know what? Fine. We'll take what we can get. Erica Durance returning, because if you are uninitiated into the Supergirl series, she actually plays Supergirl's mother in the show as a recast. I think she's only done it like 3 times too. But man, I'm so happy to have her back as Lois Lane. She is my Lois Lane. Personally, when I read the comics, her voice is what I hear. So, yeah, I'm just happy to have them. Man, God, I can't wait for this thing. I really can't wait for this thing. I know I have friends who have kind of fallen off of the Arrowverse shows, but are fully committed to coming back for this. They're not going to try and get caught up or anything like that, which is a shame because I watch all of them and I love them. I even watch Black Lightning, and that actor, the actor who plays Black Lightning, is confirmed to actually be in this as well. I didn't have that noted down. I couldn't find the story readily available on SMP, although I'm pretty sure I posted it. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, this is just big. This is huge. This is a 5-hour DC big universe hopping crossover movie. And just in this episode alone, we have talked about what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think 7 total universes, and that's not everything. That's not every universe we are going to see in this crossover. Wow. Like, shit, that is so cool. Anyways, let's keep riding this high for this next story because, oh my God, I cannot tell you how much this made my day. Spider-Man is back in the MCU, which means I can call off my kind of Sony boycott, mostly just those Sony Marvel movies boycott. Not that I'm really jazzed. I still really don't care about Venom 2. I still don't want to see it. But I guess I'll go and see it. Maybe I'll catch a $5 matinee for this one, since I know what I'm getting myself into this time. Because, man, Venom had a lot of potential. But, hey, water under the bridge. Let's talk about this. Yeah, Sony and Disney finally came to terms, and we're going to go over what those new terms are. Excuse me. First, Disney and Marvel Studios will receive 25% of the profits out of the, to compare that to the 5% they were receiving, and they will retain the merchandising rights. So, hey, you know, they got something out of the deal, and like I said from the beginning, this was probably their tactic from the beginning. They intended to probably have this whole thing figured out there on the spot and come to this arrangement to begin with, but Sony played difficult. Whatever. Spider-Man is going to return for a third film as originally planned, but there is a new caveat that he will have another appearance in some other MCU film as well. Before, I believe it was 3 cameo appearances, 3 solo pictures, and now they've added a 4th appearance as well. So that's cool. We're getting a little more Spider-Man for our buck. We also know that Chris McKenna and Eric Summers will return to write it. Kevin Feige will produce it, and John Watts, who directed the previous films, is currently in talks to direct it. So we're gonna get the band back together for this thing. And finally, we got a release date of July 16th, 2021, which puts this ahead of some of the other things we've had confirmed. So this is dropping like right into the middle of phase 4, which I'm all about. That's cool. The best thing coming out of this, guys, the one thing, like, I kept thinking about this. Like I said, I was unreasonably affected by this. This thing that, again, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If this movie never happened, if this deal never happened, my life would continue as originally set on the path that, whatever, I got way too heady for myself there. But yeah, life would have gone on. But the one thing that I was consistently bummed about, the one thing that kept popping up in my mind is like, man, I'm just bummed we're not going to see where that cliffhanger goes. I'm just bummed that we're not going to know the fallout of his identity being revealed and essentially him being framed as a murderer. So branching out of that thought, I want to talk about a conversation I had with a couple of people you might remember from the podcast. They used to be a part of it, and then they turned their backs on it. I joke to hide the pain that I do this alone. So alone. But we had a little conversation in our group chat that we consistently throw shit into about, like, where could they go with this? Like, what would be an interesting idea for this? And the first thought that I had was, okay, so now Spider-Man is quote unquote known to be a murderer, as revealed by J. Jonah Jameson, which means some heroes who do not know him, who haven't fought alongside him, are gonna be like, the fuck, I gotta bring this guy in. I know where he is. He regularly operates out of Queens, so let's go get him. Which would be a great way to introduce the Punisher to the MCU proper. Hear me out. This doesn't mean that I think the Punisher should be the villain. This just goes to say that was how the Punisher was introduced to Marvel Comics to begin with, was he was hunting Spider-Man in an issue of Spider-Man, misunderstanding that he was not a menace and was actually a hero. And so this would be a good way to introduce the Punisher, not to mention the fact that this movie is taking place just after the deal with Netflix runs out, which means if they want to, they can finally use the characters of Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and the Punisher. And if they were really committed to the idea that those shows were kind of loosely tied into the MCU, they can bring back John Barenthal. So yeah, which I think would be a great move. I think, as Odell Alpha Spectre stated in the group chat, it would probably be a good idea to bring them all back. I know Danny Rand wasn't anything special, but he got better in season 2. Season 2 was way better. They were getting there. So why not bring them all back? Fine. But John Barenthal is such a good Punisher, and this would be such a good way to get him injected into the MCU the right way. And on top of that, you can have Kraven the Hunter as your villain still. And it doesn't even have to be tied into the reveal of his identity so much, outside of maybe he's like, okay, well, now that I know the identity of Spider-Man, this guy I was already intending on hunting, makes it easier for him. Sure. So for one part of this movie, you could have the Punisher and Kraven the Hunter after Spider-Man, which is like insane odds. Like, Kraven is a bad dude. This version of Spider-Man probably couldn't handle him as he's been known in the comics. So if they take comic to screen, then fucking this Peter Parker has his work cut out for him. And he's dodging the Punisher, a guy who's known to kill those he thinks are killers and rapists and drug dealers and shit like that. Yeah. And then on top of that, this is also a good way to introduce Matt Murdock, the Daredevil, into the MCU proper, because Murdock, what was their law firm called? I can't remember. But anyways, they're notorious for taking on, cases for people who can't necessarily afford the big fancy lawyers and stuff. Peter Parker, being of a lower class family, he could easily fit that bill. And you can even open the movie to him talking to Matt Murdock, and then maybe later have a scene where, like, Murdock needs to get some evidence to help prove Peter's innocent, and so he suits up as Daredevil to go get said evidence. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here and trying to remember what we said in the group chat. I just think that would be an amazing way to get him involved. And then eventually, at some point in the film, you get Frank Castle onto Spider-Man's side. Somehow, he realizes Spider-Man isn't the bad guy here. And so now Frank Castle is helping Spider-Man. And you got Daredevil on his side. Wouldn't it be fucking awesome to see Spider-Man, the Punisher, and Daredevil beating the shit out of Kraven the Hunter? Man, I don't know. Maybe it's too street. Maybe it's too street level for where we left Spider-Man last time. I mean, fuck, he was just in space with like everyone else fighting like this alien army, and then come back and now he's dealing with Mysterio, who is kind of a straight level villain. Like, I mean, he has no magical powers. He, it's interesting, to say the least, just to bring him back down to a friendly neighborhood level. I don't know. I think that would be a great movie. I would love to go see that movie, but whatever they're gonna do, I'm on board for. You got my ass in the seat. You get my ass in the seat for your other stupid Sony films. Fine, whatever. I'm sure there's part of this deal that'll get revealed that, like, Marvel has to let Sony use, I know there was that rumor going around, but it was never confirmed, but Marvel is gonna have to let them use Tom Holland and fucking like Venom and dumb shit like that. Whatever, I don't care. I only care about the MCU proper, and that is what I'm there for. So yes, awesome. Thank you very much, you fucking assholes, for coming to a fucking deal. Jesus. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me on this episode. Like this episode if you liked it. Subscribe if you loved it. Don't forget to comment any of your thoughts on today's stories. We're not going to do a getting caught up today because I didn't prepare anything. And it's still like, I just realized season 13 of It's Always Sunny is on Hulu, so now I'm watching that. Cool. And I can't watch Friday Night SmackDown because apparently it's no longer available on Hulu the day after it airs. Whatever. It's also, apparently, WWE Network doesn't upload them for rewatch until like weeks after they've aired, so fuck me, right? Although I did find out the Sling TV is going to be airing AEW Dynamite. I'm really excited for that. Thank you, Bobbert Collins, Boba Fett, for hooking me up with some Sling. Anyways, yeah, comment any of your thoughts on today's stories or anything else you want to talk about down below. We'll talk about it. Why the fuck not? Links down below, personal social media for Subject to Change Entertainment, and all the things. Guys, my name is Vincent Herman, the Human, and it's time to cue that last minute outro music.